Well, almost 24 hours ago, we watched live as a tornado hit the ground near Salado, carving a path of destruction that destroyed homes, churches, and sent a dozen people to the hospital. And today, from what we're seeing from the air, it's incredible that more people were not hurt. Our coverage begins with KXAN's Daniel Marine. He's live near one of the two churches in the tornado's path yesterday. Daniel?
And this is what's left of the First Cedar Valley Baptist Church out here in Salado. You can see there are some community members out here. They're beginning to clean up what they can, go through everything. They tell me this building is only 13 years old and it was made out of heavy stone. We did speak with some members of this faith community. We also heard from a teenager who lives not too far from here. He says a sign of hope from this church actually blew into his neighborhood.
All of a sudden it just shifted. And I honestly think that that was an act of God.
After Tuesday's tornado spared Reagan Keith's Hidden Springs home, the 17-year-old and his neighbor sifted through what landed in their neighborhood.
She picked up this piece of an old hymnal.
The lyrics on this shred of paper blown from the heavens read, "I am bound for the promised land."
They were very fitting to what had just happened, that our days are numbered and we're not going to be here forever.
Keith believes the scrap came from nearby Cedar Valley Baptist Church, which the tornado did not spare.
It's very heartbreaking.
Clayton Capps spends every fourth Friday here singing. That won't happen for a while, though.
It could have been a lot worse. I mean, this is, this right here is what means everything, the flesh and blood.
Sometimes you want to question why things like this happen.
Donnie Jackson is the pastor at Cedar Valley Baptist. Despite what he sees around him, his faith remains firm.
I have no idea what God's purpose is in allowing this to happen, but I know He has one. I know that in spite of the devastation that we see, the big cross that we have as we enter the building is still there.
And Pastor Jackson says if his congregation agrees to it, he wants to hold service here for Easter this Sunday right out front. Back to you.
Daniel, thank you. We have the latest update out of Bell County from just over an hour ago. 63 structures, including homes and churches, damaged. More than 500 homes are still without electric power in Bell County right now. And new at 6 o'clock tonight, we're going to hear from a woman whose sister, brother-in-law, and their two children are still in the hospital with their injuries. Our chief meteorologist, David Yeomans, joining us now live to help us understand how powerful this tornado was yesterday. David, it was more powerful than the Gerald tornado 3 weeks ago.
Much more powerful, Robert. That was an EF1. This was almost an EF4, if you can believe that. And even though there were many people affected and many injured, this was a near catastrophe. Had this tornado moved into a more populated area, I honestly fear the number of people who would have died in this system. EF3 goes up to 165 miles per hour, and that is exactly what the Weather Service gave this tornado. I will note the Williamson County portion rated at 100 miles per hour, an EF1, but as it moved into Bell County, a track of 16.5 miles on the ground for more than 30 minutes, that's when it achieved its peak intensity.